Okay, everyone, hello, it's me again. So basically today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple animation like this. Very basic hand motion, very basic hair wave. So the reason for today's video is because I was trying to figure out how to use Alight Motion because I want to get into animating a little better. Um, and I found tutorials, but I found myself having to take several things from different tutorials and putting them together and kind of filling in the gaps. So today I want to go through from the very beginning how to do it very easy, very quick kind of explanation. So I'm going to restart and I'm going to make a whole new template for you guys so we can start together. Okay, to start off with what apps you'll need in this video today. Gacha Life, or if you wanted, instead you could draw your own character. Either works, but you're going to need a screenshot or the drawing of the character. And what you're going to need to do to start off is go into whatever studio you're using to separate the body part. Basically, I'm using IBS Paint. That's my regular drawing app as well. It's a very good app. There will be ads, not for anything that you'll use in this video, but for Alight Motion, there will be ads. Do not pay for premium. I would say practice, see if it's something you want to continue doing, and then see if you want to spend the money on it. I'm not going to, because I don't need to. So, we're going to start off with a character like this, and I'm going to just quickly show you guys how to go through and select the different body parts, because this took me a bit of trial and error to figure out a good way to do it. So basically what I just did there is I go onto my layer, make sure it's visible. I go to the very top of all of the layers over here, and I go to selection layer. All you'll need to do is get a brush. You can choose whatever brush you want to use, and just kind of outline the area, and I'll come back once I've done that. Okay, so once you have the area outlined, so for example, I just did the bangs. If you were doing the arm, you could just outline it like that. But we're not going to do that right now. So then what you want to do is go to this layer again, the one that we made sure was visible. Make sure it's not visible. Go back to your selection layer. Use the bucket fill. That's the easiest. And then just fill it in. Fix any little gaps you might have or whatnot. And then you'll go back to this layer. You can make it visible or not. It doesn't matter. And you'll want to click this little square at the top right here. Click copy, and then you don't have to click a new layer, just click paste right after. Click the little check mark. Don't do any resizing, and then you'll see right here on layer 2. Now we can put this off, and you can see the fact that it is just the bangs now. And then from here, all you'll need to do to get these pictures saved to your tablet, your phone, or whatever you're doing this on, you can do it on anything. These 3 little dots down here in the corner right above the word normal, you can just click save layer as transparent PNG. I'm not going to do that because it'll throw me off right now, but if you click that, then you'll have it as exactly what it looks like right now, and you'll just repeat those steps. This is how you remove the selection layer. You'll want to turn that off for each one you do, and then you'll just go through and do that for every body part here. And then we'll come back right here to the Alight Motion. I went ahead and opened it already just because you're gonna have ads. I'd say just be patient, wait through the ads, it's not worth the money. So what we're gonna do, this is how it comes, this is exactly how it starts. You're gonna go to the arrow in the bottom right corner of your screen. You're gonna click add, media, and then you're going to, for example, we did bangs, you're gonna add the bangs. It's pretty simple. I would say, first thing you want to do, first off, don't resize this. Because we did everything as the same size in the IBS paints, whenever we went through and selected all the areas, it's all going to fit perfectly together, so we don't want to resize anything and have to mess with it. You can later, but just for this tutorial, to make it easier on yourself, I'd say just don't do that for right now. I am going to do this. You don't have to do this step, but trust me, when you're in the little prompt, you can't really see what item you're clicking on. So this really helps. I'm just going to rename the layers as I put them in, and I'm going to name it bangs. That's what I'm going to do right there. So before you click off of anything, the very next step I want you to do is go down to the bottom left and click move and transform. You're going to click the little arrow icon in the bottom right, the topmost one of the 4. You're going to want to click that, and then there's going to be a pivot point for you, and I want you to just move that right here to the top of the hair, top of the bangs right there. And now what's that going to do is going to, when it rotates, it is going to rotate around that point. The starting point is, oh, I didn't know you could do that. See, I'm learning things with you guys. I'm not a professional yet. I'm learning this with you. So basically, whenever you're doing animations, it'll make that swing easier because it's coming from that center point where it would naturally swing from. So I'm going to repeat those steps. So click off. To click off, you just click this box right here, this black box that doesn't have anything on it. Real quick, we'll do one more. I'm going to do the head now. Insert that, don't touch anything. Move and transform. Move the pivot point. You're going to want it to be for the chin for this one, around where the neck and chin would connect. And then we're going to want to rename it. I should have done that first, but we'll rename it to be head. And then when you're done, you'll have 2. So come back whenever you've done that. Okay, so for example, this lower left arm, I'm only doing one at a time to show you, for arms wise. Whenever you move that pivot point, you want it to be where it naturally connects on the body. But for the hair, for example, the pivot point is almost identical to where we put the bangs. So the bangs pivot point is right here. The back hair is going to be up here. The chin and the body also, they're going to be really close. And that's going to help you get a more natural feel, I feel like. So chin right there, that's actually the body. And then the head is connected to the same spot because they're kind of connected to the same spot. If it's one meeting point, like, the top of your head, that's going to be that's one meeting point. So, like, your neck and your chin, they connect. So that's where the pivot point is going to be. That's why that's important. So what we're going to start is, if we do the back hair, we kind of want the back hair and the bangs to be connected because there's still one piece of hair, but we can still move them individually if we need to. So what we're going to do is we're going to go, there's 3 buttons up in the top right corner of your screen. There's going to be 2 little squares, a trash can, and then 3 little dots. You're going to want to click on the 2 little squares. You can either watch an ad or try first. I would just click try it first if you have the option. And then you're going to go, so I'm selected on the back here. You're going to want to click on whatever piece you're on. And then you're going to want to go to bangs. And now those 2 pieces should be connected. So the bangs they're connected. It works for the bangs. I don't know why it's not working for the hair. Okay, so editor's note here real quick. I realized when I was doing this, I didn't know why if I moved the back hair, it wouldn't move it, but the bangs would. So basically what's happened is whatever object you start on, the one that you family it to will be the one that you move to move both pieces. So I started on the back hair, so moving the bangs is what's going to move both pieces. But that's okay. So what we're going to do is, another thing to know is if you want to move the layers, for example, the back hair should be in the back of the head. You're going to want to go to the side. You're going to want to go to the right side where those 3 little black lines are for each of them. And you're going to want to hold close to those lines. You don't have to hold directly on those lines, just close to them. And then you're going to want to pull down, and it should be underneath everything. So the bangs should be above the head. The body should be below the head. And just like that. So what we're going to start with is the hair. I'll start with the bangs. So to get that waving effect, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to go to Effects in the bottom right corner. You're going to go to Add Effect. And then you're going to go to Distortion and Warp. Once you've clicked on that, there's wave warp, and that's what we're going to want to use. There's also a bunch of other options that you can use, but for right now, if we want that nice flowy hair look, we're going to go to wave warp. So we're going to try it first, and now you're going to see it looks just like that. Like, that's not exactly what we want. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the wave warp pop-up that comes up after you've clicked it. And I'm going to have everything on screen now, edited in, so you don't have to wait for me. But I'm going to have all of the new things. So if you want to go down here, you see where angle is. For example, our angle, we're going to change that to be -90. -90. Just like that. Our spacing is going to be 6. I believe it's 6. It is. And then we're not going to touch magnitude or warp angle. And if you're scrolling, especially if you're on a phone, it helps if you click this right piece right here. Then you're going to go down to damping. If you click on that, we're going to go to magnitude, and that is going to be set at 90. So really up there. We really want to dampen these effects, so let me do that. The spacing on here is going to stay the same, and then the anchor is going to change to 0.80. So we're really like basically dampening, basically lessening the effects that it has. So once we've done that, all of the effects, again, you can just skip through that little part if you wanted to. You're going to click on the 3 circles right next to the trash button. Don't click the trash button, but right next to it, you're going to click on that, and you're going to click copy effect. That's going to make our life a million times easier, so we don't have to do that for each one. This back hair right here, we're going to go to effects. We're going to add the same effect, distortion and warp, wave warp. And sorry, we're going to click on standard settings on all of these. Try it first, and then once you have that, if we click on this and then we click on these 3 little arrows right here, we can just paste effects settings. So they're going to be the exact same for both. Now, all we're going to do once we have that done is there's not anything happening. So obviously, we need something to happen here. That's why we just did all of that. We want that wavy hair effect. So what we're going to do is we are going to work on keyframes. These are called keyframes. These are very important when you're animating. This is what gives it motion. So if we go over here, we click on the bangs, we click on effects, we click on the wave warp. You'll see now that we've opened wave warp, there's a phase at the top. There's also that little diamond, that is their keyframe button. So what we're going to do is we're going to click that keyframe button just once. Once you've clicked that keyframe button, if you scroll over, it will automatically set a keyframe whenever. So if I'm scrolling over right now, I don't have to touch anything. If I scroll over to the very end of our video or content, and then I scroll on here, I'm going to just do like 2, for example, for the face. It automatically placed that keyframe for us. So that's a really good thing to know. If you click that keyframe once, whenever you're moving it, it will naturally follow that keyframe, and it will naturally make that keyframe. And I'll show you when we get to the arm. It's a little easier to tell, but now we can see it did it. It's moving. So now we can do the exact same thing. So if we just click this, if we want to, we can even just copy the effects again. And I believe if we copy the effects, go to the back hair, effects, and we paste the effects, yes. So if you copy and paste after the keyframes, which is what I would recommend to do now that I know that, it will transfer those keyframes over so you don't have to do it twice. So, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to just quickly go through animating this. Since we made, we're going to turn the arm in a little bit before we start. move and transform this little square with the circles. We're going to move that. And we're going to move this over. So basically, since we already made those pivot points at the very beginning, that's going to make our lives a lot easier. So whenever you insert those pictures, do the keyframes, do the naming right when you start. So, or sorry, not keyframes, pivot points, and then the naming right when you start. So, for example, I want to make this arm move. All you have to do, again, one tap on the keyframe, and then if you move along to just a little bit more, like forward into the video, and you twist it, it should automatically, I guess it didn't. I don't know why it didn't. But then we move forward a little bit. We twist it a little more. It automatically put it down for us. Twist it a little more. And as we're doing that, we can also move it down. Just like that. Move it a little more. Move it a little more. So you're basically just moving it along. And so now, there's a little arm raise. You see that? Pretty simple. It's just tedious, selecting everything, getting each of the parts. But that was basically the tutorial. Okay guys, so I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it to the end, let me know, because if you did, that's impressive, because as you can tell, I'm new to this. I'm learning along with you, so thank you so much for sticking it out with me. And if you did follow this tutorial, tell me if you need any help, what you figured was easiest. Just tell me what you think. Thank you again so much for being here with me through my first real video. And overall, I'm thinking we can make this a series, so we practice together really, to build more of a community around it, so it's a little easier. I'll be really going through things slow and steady because I found out that's what's best for me. So, thank you again.